Hey everyone, welcome to the channel where we love to talk about movies. Welcome especially if you're new. If you enjoy talking about movies and staying up to speed on what's in theaters and what's worth checking out, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a review. Alright, with that we're going to get into today's review, which is for I Want to Dance with Somebody. And yeah, I just saw this yesterday in theater, so recording today. This is a movie. It's a joyous, emotional, heartbreaking celebration of the life and music of Whitney Houston, one of the greatest female R&B pop vocalists of all time, tracking her journey from obscurity to musical stardom. So I am aware, of Whitney Houston, but I didn't really know anything about her. Going into this, like I've heard some of her music. I wouldn't say I'm familiar with very much of her music. I think I've seen the film The Bodyguard. So she's a figure that I know of, but didn't really know. So I was interested in kind of getting into the review. I'll talk to kind of 5 points, and the first one being I was really interested to see a film about that would talk to the life of somebody as influential as she was, and that's certainly something that I like in a biopic and in this biopic, to just learn about this is a real person, and presumably they're not taking many liberties with the story. But yeah, I think it's great to learn more about these people that I've heard of, but otherwise don't really know much about. Point number two, watching the film, one of the thoughts I had was if could paparazzi just go away? That'd be great. It creates just such a toxic culture, and I don't know. I don't know if there's anything active that I as an individual can do for that. But I feel like so many of the problems that celebrities experience, and just being driven to drugs and alcohol and that sort of a thing, is just from the toxic culture that's created by paparazzi. We shine the spotlight on them, and then they're expected to behave in certain ways, and they feel pressure to not be themselves, be what people expect them to be, and then it just gets to be too much and they get past a breaking point. That's at least how it played out in this film, and it was really sad to watch. And I wish that kind of paparazzi and just this focus on people who are popular, if I wish we could somehow turn back the spotlight. I don't know that that's possible. I think it's just what comes with it, but it'd be great if we could just appreciate them, and in Whitney's case, her music, and not feel the need to know every detail about her life and that sort of a thing. Unless she wants to share, then great. But I don't know. Yeah, that's a problem that I don't know if we'll ever find an answer to. But it's yeah, that was at least something I was reflecting on watching the film. The point number three, kind of getting into that, it was about halfway through the film, and I remember noting to myself, I'm like, huh, we haven't seen her start to do any drugs. She's pretty clean, sort of, for like yeah, she didn't drink, wasn't doing drugs, and for somebody who had that much of a status and fame, was interesting to see. And I was like, huh, you don't usually see that with people that have that much star power. And I was like, maybe she didn't, and she's one of those few. But then as the second half plays out, we see her slip into that, and it's kind of, I think a lot of that is understandable, especially given reflecting on the nature of paparazzi and just the pressure from people and the public when you're that famous. But it was, so yeah, I don't, it was just really hard to watch because she didn't, that only hit the second half of the film, and I don't know, that was difficult. So point number four, I did really like her relationship with Clive, her producer. I think that's the name, or the right title. But I thought they had a really healthy relationship, and I know he, starting out, he's like, I don't get involved in the personal lives of my artists, and he eventually does, but that's because they're that close, and they really do seem like family. And I think they have like what the movie depicts, they had a very, very good relationship, and that I think is not always the case. Like seeing other biopics and that sort of a thing, especially having seen Elvis, like that was not a good situation between those two. So it was nice to see this be a healthy and kind of mutually beneficial relationship where both sides cared about each other and didn't just see the other as a means to an end. And then last point, I thought this was not something that I knew about her, and I thought it was interesting that that Whitney Houston is bi, and I think it's great that the film didn't shy away from that. And if I mean, assuming they painted it in the correct light, again, I haven't done research to know, but I can hope that that is the case. And yeah, I think from what the movie showed, she had to deal with a lot in her life because she didn't hide that all the time, and I thought it was great that she's the sort of person who just wanted to be herself, and that also came through in her music. Like she's like, if I can't feel a song, I'm not gonna do it. And she didn't write her own music, but she would sing the songs that she connected with, and seeing her kind of connect with certain songs later in life, she's like, hey, I wouldn't have gone for this song years ago, but yeah, I think it was great to see her very much just the embodiment of be true to yourself and live your life on your terms. And I thought that came through very strongly. And yeah, and I assume that's very reflective of the real person, and so I think that's great and something I very much respect in her. So yeah, those are 5 points that stood out to me about the film. Overall, I give this one a letter grade of a B. I think it's a solid B, and yeah, it didn't do anything too outstanding in my opinion. It was a solid biopic, didn't blow me away, but if you're looking for something to watch, I think it's worth the watch. Yeah, it was nice to see in theaters. Probably doesn't need to be seen in theaters if that's something you're kind of on the fence about. But if you're looking for something to watch, I think it's worth the time. So it is a little bit longer, about 2.5 hours, I think. So just know that going in. But otherwise, if you've had a chance to see the film, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this review, be sure to smash the like button. And thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.